Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Morgan You Know podcast, a conversation show about the seasonal sports and always wrestling, occasionally some pop culture. We haven't done that in a while, probably due for that soon. Thank you so much for checking us out live. If you are doing that right now on Twitch or Facebook or YouTube, thank you for listening or watching us later on your podcast platform of choice. We appreciate it. Make sure you're liking us there. Give us a comment there. We would love that. I know our executive producer and the brains, frankly, behind this operation, my good friend since the third grade, he is James Thomas Jamriska. Jimmy Jam, hello.
Rod, it is a pleasure to be here as always. We have a ton to go over tonight, and it is Wrestlemania week, so let's get going.
That's right. So basically, that was Jimmy's nice way of saying, Rod, don't waste a bunch of time. We have important things to get to this evening, but I have to go to the oldest man on this podcast who has done nothing but waste time for longer than all of us. But he has great takes, and he's the voice of the fan on this podcast. He's our guy, Chris King. Chris, hello.
What's up, gentlemen? I'm still reeling from last night's NBA first round playoff games.
They were great games last night. We will get to a little NBA discussion when Jimmy runs us on the fast break here in a bit. We're definitely going to get some WrestleMania picks. You heard Jimmy talk about that already. The excitement is in the air, or is it? We'll get there. But first, I want to talk about patting ourselves on the back. And Jimmy, I never really pat us on the back, right? That's not something I do very often here on the podcast, is it?
No, you're very modest, Rod.
But see, I'm actually not just talking myself up here. We had our guy Matt Roberts on, and we had a pretty fruitful Masters discussion where every single one of us gave a very viable and decent pick. I believe, Jimmy, you said go ahead and give me Scotty Scheffler. There's your second place finisher. I said go ahead and give me Justin Rose. There's a guy who had a run at the leaderboard. Chris, I believe you said give me Cam Young. There's a guy who had a run at the leaderboard. We all talked about Rory McIlroy. That's who ended up winning the Masters. Congratulations to Rory McIlroy. But that leads me to a cold open question. Surprise, gentlemen. It's been a few weeks since the cold open question. So in honor of our guy Rory, down in the green jacket for a second time back-to-back, I ask both of you, what is your greatest back-to-back accomplishment? Chris, I'm very interested in this one.
Listen, I have a long history, Rod. I'm old. I've been around for a long time, right? Real long time. But I wanted to keep it kind of simple. I wanted to keep it sports related because this is kind of like balls and brews. So it was when I was in high school. This is leather helmet days, all right? I was a sophomore. I got a chance at varsity filling in. I had 2 runs where I had over 20 yards a pop on each run, and I instantly got promoted to varsity and taken out of the game so I didn't get hurt.
There we go. Look at you. Back-to-back 20-yard pops. Now, you've got to describe these runs for me. Was this in your elusive days? Was this a young Chris in the leather helmet? Were you spinning guys? Were you juking guys? Or was this a, I'm bigger than everybody, let me drop my shoulder and bury some people?
It was a little bit of both. They were runs up the gut, but it was a whole lot of making dudes miss, Rod.
There we go. I absolutely love it. I'll step in here because mine is a bit of a sporting accomplishment, albeit not a physical sport, but the sport of drama, if you will, the sport of forensics, the sport of speech that many participate in high school. I did that as a junior and a senior, and I was back-to-back sectional champion in the event of radio. How about that? Back-to-back sectional champs, Jim. That's my greatest back-to-back accomplishment. What's yours?
A lot less than both of yours. So let's go to. I had 2, but I'll go to high school because Chris said high school, and my high school is a lot worse than his. So I played basketball for a couple years, freshman and sophomore year. And
you beast, you.
And I averaged about maybe 13 seconds a game. I was one of those bench players that got put in even though you're up 60. No, you're not playing. No. Well, in one game, Rod, I got back-to-back rebounds, and then and one of those rebounds, I got fouled really hard, and I went down and probably should have been in concussion protocol, but I wasn't. So then I hit back-to-back free throws. So, Rod, My back-to-back rebounds and back-to-back free throws made me 100% free throws on the season, and my average rebounds per game was like 67. So that is my best back-to-back.
Let's go. Concussion protocol definitely was not a thing. We're talking, what, 96 here, Jimmy? We're talking 96, right? 97?
Yeah, about 96, 96, 97. They'd get up and shake it off. Literally, that's what they said.
Yeah, absolutely. Rub a little dirt on it, right? That's definitely what Chris was told many times in his football days, right, Chris? No water, put dirt on it, right? That's what the coaches said to you during the football days when you played.
I'm pretty sure if you did some skin grafts, I mean, you'd find some dirt from the 19s and the aughts. That's for sure.
Well, speaking of the aughts, I don't know how to do this, the aughts to NBA basketball, but we are into the playoffs. Jimmy mentioned great play-in games last night. We're going to get to that and some playoff predictions, but the regular season is wrapped up. There's a weird appeal on file with the union and the NBA that is trying to decide whether or not Luka Doncic is going to be available to be for awards in All NBA. It's kind of a mess. I don't really want to focus on that. Let's just go that Luka is not allowed on first team NBA right now, because as it stands, he's not allowed on first team NBA. All right, let's operate in that world. So, gentlemen, I think it's fairly clear that Wembanyama, Jokic, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are all on the first team NBA. So I ask you, who are your fourth and fifth members of the first team All NBA? Jimmy, we'll start with you.
I have to give it to Jaylen Brown. What the Celtics did this year was unbelievable, and Jaylen Brown really did need to take it up another level. He could have been someone who's like, I'm just going to get all the points. He could have been a Cam Thomas type person this year, and the Celtics would have had 18 or 19 wins, but they didn't. And then it made it possible for Tatum to come back and play meaningful minutes before the playoffs, and they are a favorite to go to the finals right now. So I think Jaylen Brown has to be on this team. And then someone else who hasn't had an amazing season from before the season started to now, I've gone back and forth. I'm going Kawhi Leonard. I think Kawhi Leonard's going to get to listen, 27
Kawhi Leonard's aspiration is to be on the first team All NBA. Thank you very much.
You done? Okay. He played 65 games this year, which is something that he is not really known for doing.
Amazing.
He's had a great year, and the Clippers don't really have a shot because of injuries, but they're playing the Warriors to go to the playoffs. So I love it. I think Kawhi Leonard's going to be my pick there. I'm shocked because there's a lot of decent players there, but Kawhi Leonard would be my pick. Obviously, Luka would be my pick in there without, hey, his wife had a baby. That's the only reason why he didn't get to 65. Not because of technicals or anything like that, Rob.
Pay no attention to these technicals behind the curtain, to quote the Wizard of Oz. Chris, are you going with Kawhi and Jaylen Brown, or do you have two others in a world where Luka's not allowed to be on first team?
I agree with Jaylen Brown, right? Listen, the Celtics would not be where they are if it was not for the way he played this year, right? You've even admitted it, Rod. You're not a fan of his, and you have been severely impressed with what he's been able to do.
Very true. I can't say that you're wrong there. I'm not a fan of his. Is a little strong. Am I prone to criticize him? Yes, but I still have always, he's a Celt. I'm a Celt through and through. But am I prone to criticize him? I'll definitely vouch to that.
Right. But I'm going to go Tyrese Maxey.
Ooh.
All right. I think he's put together quite the season. 28 points a game, 4 boards, almost 7 assists. His PER's up.
Did he lead the NBA in minutes? He was damn close if he didn't lead the NBA in minutes, because I know
he was close. I think he finished with
games.
38 minutes a game is what I think he ended up averaging with 70 games played. But his stocks are almost at 3 per game, which I also love, right? We know Kawhi can do that, but I think Maxey deserves it.
Nice. Maxey. I love Maxey as a vote there. We're all actually in lockstep on our fourth position. No one is going to be shocked to hear that I have Jaylen Brown as the fourth on the first team NBA. No one is going to be shocked by that whatsoever. Jimmy gives you Kawhi Leonard. Chris gives you not Kawhi Leonard. I just forgot already. Chris, who did you give?
Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey. Yep. Goodness gracious.
Not Kawhi Leonard. Correct. Not
Kawhi Leonard. See, it was that podcast trick where I was trying to remind myself and then I just couldn't get there. All right, so Leonard and Maxey, and I am going to give you Donovan Mitchell. Okay? Because Donovan Mitchell puts up stats and we just forget about him, right? He's in Cleveland. Nobody really talks about Cleveland. Cleveland's a bit of a disappointment, right? The James Harden trade, things seem all kind of a malaise there, but you just look up. I'll tell you as a Celtics fan, I am straight terrified when Donovan Mitchell gets hot and gets the ball in a game versus the Celtics, because that guy could shoot from deep. That guy can drive to the lane. He hits free throws. He's decent enough on defense when he wants to be. And quite frankly, I wouldn't put him in my top 5 ballot for MVP, right? I wouldn't put him for any of the other most clutch or any of the other awards that are out there. But I think Donovan Mitchell deserves a nod, and why not it be the 5th position on first team All-NBA? What do you guys think about Mitchell as my 5th guy?
I don't disagree, Rod. I think he makes a solid case. He's even on my fantasy squad, right? And it's so quiet what he does. Like it's even hard to register. Like you think he is underperforming somehow, but he's still averaging 28 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists a game. I mean, that's insane.
Hey, speaking of fantasy, Rod, congratulations on winning the Fantasy Basketball Morgan Championship. Let's go, buddy. Congrats.
Listen, you can say what you want about fantasy basketball, and I will wear the nerd crown all day long, but I'm quite proud of this one. I only lost 2 times all year long. I think I put on as close to a fantasy masterclass as you can see this year, so I was proud of myself. Now I'm only setting myself up to be terrible the next couple of years, but at least I had that one crowning achievement this year. Let's go.
How many rings is that for you, Rod, in this league?
I think it's 3. I'll have to look back. I know I've won it at least one other time, and I think it's possibly 2. So I think I've won 3 times in 18 years. Now, I mean, that's probably as many as anybody else, but not a huge percentage out of 18 years.
It's more than me. What about you, Jimmy?
I've won once. I won, I think, my 2nd year in, and I've just been listen, we're not going to talk about the redrafting where I had Kevin Durant for $1 and I kept him on my bench the entire year because he was hurt. Oh, we're going to redraft next year. We are not redrafting. I have been in the league now for a while. My squad is awesome. I'm keeping everybody.
Yeah, we're definitely not redrafting. But speaking of awards, there are 2 that are rather tight. I mean, like historically tight. Like somebody's going to win, and you can't necessarily make a case that, hey, man, that's a terrible choice. That guy shouldn't have been MVP. Like there's just no way to argue it. Heck, there's probably 3 that you could maybe argue in the running for MVP. Let's save that one for last. I want to know about Rookie of the Year, because we saw Con Knipple get frozen out a little bit in that game last night. But we're not supposed to take that into account. It's a regular season award, and that game doesn't exist in the stat books. But Jimmy, your whistle is probably going to mean that some voters are going to think about it. I'll go first this time. I am going with Cooper Flagg, and I'll tell you why. Cooper Flagg is one of the first rookies since Michael Aloysius Jeffrey Jordan to lead his team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. All right? Cooper Flagg absolutely carried the Mavericks. Were they tanking? You bet they were. Am I mad at them for tanking? Absolutely not. But it wasn't Cooper's fault. And 10 years from now, we're going to look back and say that Con Knipple won Rookie of the Year over him. I can't personally do it. Is Con Knipple a pretty good player? Yes. But was Clay ever the best player over Steph? No, he was not. Give me Cooper Flagg. Jimmy, you go this time.
So I don't know much about college basketball, but last year during the tournament, I watched Duke's game, and Flagg and Knipple obviously were teammates. I was high on Knipple the second I saw him. I mean, they lost the game, but he was amazing, and I thought he was going to be really good, and he turned out to be great during the regular season. Now, can you base everything off of one game? No, but I'm kind of in your realm here, Rod. Who is the better player? Who do you want on your team right now and for the next 10 years? And that's Cooper Flagg. I think Cooper Flagg had an amazing season. He started off as a point guard that he's never played before, and you got to remember, he should be a freshman right now at Duke. The kid's 18 or just turned 19. He's really, really young.
Yeah, that
reclassification. And he's putting up 50s. Yeah, he reclassified. So I've got to go with Cooper Flagg here. I think he's the better player. Con Knipple did have a terrific regular season as well. I mean, VJ Edgecombe. In any other year, VJ Edgecombe would be the Rookie of the Year too, right? So I think we've had a terrific class, but Cooper Flagg's my guy, Chris.
Yeah, no, he gets my vote too, right?
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Nice.
He
much
played
agreeing.
70.
That means we're going to be fighting for these playoff matchups then. We're doing too much agreeing right now for awards.
Right,
Or
but
Mania.
last week we talked about it, and I was curious about how many games he had played this year. It turned out he played 70, so to me that solidifies it. right? And yeah, he led his team in those. I know that's not great for a bad Mavericks team, but still it was 21 points a game, 6.7 boards, 4.5 assists, 1.2 steals a game, plus a block a game. You know I like stocks. All right, so give me flag.
Wonderful. I love that we're all absolutely agreeing on that. I got a feeling we're probably going to part ways on the MVP. Chris, you start out the MVP talk.
I think it's Shea. All right. I know people don't like this type of stuff, and we went through this with Jokic year after year, it seems like. But when you have a guy that wins MVP and then becomes even more efficient at what he was already great at the following year and does it even better, I think he still gets it, right? He carries this Oklahoma City team. He is their rock. They are almost unbeatable with him on the court. He is the best player on the best team. Give me Shea.
Speaking of back-to-back, Jimmy, what do you got?
I really don't want to give it to Shea. I don't really like watching him play. So I'm not going to give it to Shea. I don't have to. It's my vote, Rod. Okay, Chris? You could be right, but I don't want to give it to him, and I don't have to. So there. Did Wembanyama play as many games as Shea? No. Did he sit out the last game of the season? He probably shouldn't have. Yeah. It's Victor Wembanyama. If you take him off the Spurs, what are the Spurs? Ain't number 2 seed, I'll tell you that right now. I think it's Victor Wembanyama. He's the MVP for me.
Jimmy, do me a favor. I'm just going to mouth right now, and we could do an editing trick if we had a lot of editing tricks where you can just put what you said at the beginning of your clip over me. I don't like Shea. I don't like the way he plays basketball. I'm not voting for Shea. Sorry. Call me wrong all you want. I'm not voting for Shea. But I'm not going to go for Victor Wembanyama. All right? If you tell me that somebody does something in NBA basketball in the year of our Lord 2026 in a league that is well over 75 years old and has never been done before, leading the league in assists and rebounds, one guy leads the league, both of those categories. That's Jokic. All right. I think we all forget that at the beginning of the year before Jokic got hurt, this man was on an absolute terror. We've seen him win MVPs before. We've seen him win championships before. He was playing even better basketball than that at the beginning of this year. He got hurt. And because of this stupid 65-game rule and his team having a coach that's not very good, yeah, we'll get into that when Denver comes up. He had to play an awful lot, come back when he wasn't ready, and he's looked a little shaky, and people are sleeping on Jokic. He's still the best player in the league. Give him the MVP.
Corey Nance just said it's Wemby. I agreed with Nance, so that's my life right now. So I get a
love you, Corey.
Would that be 4 for the Joker?
I think it's only 3 if he wins this one.
Might be 3.
No, actually, it might be 4. Yeah, that would. Either way, he just deserves it. I love the Joker, and I hate Shea.
He has 3. Yeah, 21, 22, 24.
So 4.
Rod, I see what you're saying too. All 3 of them obviously are
exactly.
Terrific players, right? Jokic, though, is better than he's ever been, and he's been MVP 3 times already. If he didn't get hurt, he probably would be number 1, to be honest with you. But if Wemby didn't get, there's a lot of things we could talk about there. One thing I do want to talk about is this Hornets and Heat. Unbelievable fourth quarter and overtime. Kobe White, who's definitely only worth a second-round pick for the Bulls. Great call there, although the Bulls did get a first-round pick with the Blazers win. LaMelo Ball. First of all, we didn't see the really, really good thing he did because of technical difficulties, Amazon. Are you kidding me?
When was the last time you guys saw technical difficulties, honestly?
That was unbelievable.
It's got to be
like comes back and it's like they're up. What?
Remember when broadcasts used to go off the air? Do you guys remember those days, right? You know what I mean? I haven't seen technical difficulties since probably those days, since it was not digital TV. That was wild.
Kobe White hits a fall-away three-pointer that's amazing. And then in overtime, LaMelo Ball does what LaMelo Ball does great. He messes up twice, but then gets a bucket to score. I just thought that game back and forth was just so fun. And the Heat will never die. They are not a good team, Chris. The Heat are not a good team, and they will never, ever die, and it really ticks me off.
That's what culture will do to you, right? It creates winners. It creates a winning attitude and a never say never, go at them full bore, right? The real question is, though, you got to put a little bit of this blame on Vasquez, right, for missing that front end of the free throws with 30 seconds left to go. less than that. It was like, I think 14 seconds left to go. But he makes that first free throw and then makes the second one. They're up 4 instead of 3. It doesn't even go in overtime. Heat win and move on.
Okay, fine. But guess who's not in that game if one LaMelo Ball, a number one clown car driver himself, LaMelo Ball, doesn't intentionally trip Bam Adebayo and knock him out of the game? Guess who's sitting on the bench is potential sixth man Jaime Jaquez Jr., not in to be the GOAT, not greatest of all time, the literal GOAT in that situation. But nobody wants to talk about that because we can't review it, because somehow the ball stayed in bounds and a fast break was off, so we can't review it. If we're going to stop the game, you know what, Jimmy? Now I'm fired up. Give me my intro. Okay. I got one.
Well, hell, give me a second here. This is
ridiculous. This is Rod Damnation. We got to do one more before the season's out. Listen, NBA, if you're going to tell me that we can slow down out of bounds plays to second by second and frame by frame to find out whose fingernail touched a ball last, with 6.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter, and it's going to take 4 minutes, but you're then going to tell me, I'm sorry, we couldn't possibly stop the clock while there's a live ball going on, and when the ball did finally stop, it was 30 seconds later, and we can't go back a few minutes. What could have possibly happened in the space-time continuum? Get out of here. If there's one specific play you should be allowed to review and go back in the footage to find, it's a non-basketball possible flagrant, excuse me, it was tough for me to get that out there, flagrant foul, number 1 or number 2. Was it as dirty as some flagrant number 2s? No. But the fact that Bam got hurt possibly means it could have risen to a flagrant 2. It's just unfortunate that the game ends that way. I don't want to make LaMelo a total villain, except that he's done this same exact thing to the Heat before and Bam Adebayo before. He acts out when he doesn't get a call and somebody gets tripped. And NBA, ultimately it's on you, because if you're going to have all of these incessant stoppages and allowing your coaches to call all of these timeouts, we should be able to go back and review something as consequential as that.
All right, Rod, it is up to the NBA. So we have hot off the presses what happened. So what did they give him? What do you think?
I think he should be suspended, personally.
Okay, Chris, what do you think?
50.
He will be assessed a flagrant 2 and fined $35,000 for that play. And then another $25,000 for using profanity after the game in a post-game interview.
The Ant Edwards fine. That's what they totally should relay.
So he swore and got $10,000 more than taking Bam Adebayo out for the game. So there's that. So he does get the 2. I think suspending him would just suck for. They weren't going to suspend him. They're not.
Certainly, Adam Silver's not going to do that. Adam Silver's way more Woody than he is a sheriff that actually gets anything done.
So the Hornets get a chance to, and this was strange because we had to flip-flop the 7, 8, 9, and 10 games because of other events going on. So the 76ers and Magic, which is really close now as we're recording this, very close.
It's on here in the
studio.
And
I know who the Celtics do not want to play. They do not want to play the 76ers.
Get out of here with that. We'll play either one of them. Get out of here with that. Joe Maz isn't scared of anybody. Let's go. He'll run the Rocky steps every day, punch people while going up. He's ready to go.
Joe Maz is going to take that Coach of the Year trophy and throw it out the window. I will tell you one thing, though. The Trailblazers, as a Bulls fan, very, very happy they won. Denny Avdija, let's go. 41 points, 3 of 8 from 3, 12 assists, 7 rebounds. What a game he had. Drew Holiday, heard of him, 21 points as well, in a very close game with Phoenix. And give it to Phoenix. You know, they had a good season. They have a chance to still maybe do something with one of these other playing teams, with the Warriors or the Clippers.
Jimmy, you're being rather nice. Let me ask you a question here. Let's say you live in greater Phoenix proper, okay? Let's say you're out there in the land of Charles Barkley. You're out there in the desert. You're watching out for rattlesnakes. You got cactuses on your drive. You're all about it, all right? And you say to yourself, we got a game here where our season's semi on the line. Who do you want taking 20? You're living in the greater Phoenix area. Yeah, is that who you're saying? Are you saying Jalen Green, you want taking 29 shots? Or Chris, do you think maybe if you're a guy who's got a cactus in his backyard and a sun visor to make sure that the leather inside of his car doesn't burn on sight because it's so hot in Phoenix, Arizona, do you maybe want Devin Booker taking 29 shots in that game?
The only way I want to see Jalen Green take 29 shots is if he made the first 15. All right.
Which he did not.
He did not. He did not.
No.
He didn't make 15 the whole night, Chris.
No, he did not.
That's the only way I want to see Jalen Green get to 29 shots.
That's just, people want to talk about Jordan Ott as possibly the guy behind Joe Maz and the Detroit coach Bickerstaff. Get out of here with that. What kind of game plan did he just show right there with letting that guy shoot 29 times? Good God.
Well, he was hurt most of the year, so he has to get those shots up, Rod. He's got to get the practice in. Who doesn't need to get the practice in is the Thunder. They're going to go against the number 8 seed coming up in the playoffs. The Lakers and Rockets, I am very intrigued by this, especially if Germany did some good work on Luka and maybe even Austin Reeves. This is big for the Rockets, Rod. They've got to win this series. If not, is this a KD curse again?
Speaking of KD, Jimmy, I led you there, but who played the third most minutes in the entire NBA this year? Kevin Durant. That's insane. That's insane. Kevin Durant's like close to the same age as LeBron, right? Like we're talking a draft class from eons ago, and he played the third most minutes in the NBA because the Rockets don't have a point guard. And I got to do a little mea culpa here. I used to be on this very show, this very network, pining for the days of Ime Udoka. Thank God Ime Udoka is not the Boston Celtics coach, and I'm not so sure how much longer he's going to be the Houston Rockets coach. I think the Lakers are going to win this. I like what Chris is talking about with Germany. I like LeBron to extend this series and make it ugly. The Rockets lose games late. The Lakers win games late. I think Luka's going to come back for at least game 5, 6, and 7, and the Lakers are going to pull this out.
Anything can happen with the Lakers, Chris.
We have seen multiple people carry the Lakers at different points this season, whether it's been Austin Reeves, Luka, or LeBron. And you got to be a little bit concerned about KD not having the legs that it takes to get through a playoff series. If he's played all those minutes in Houston, then he may not have it. And we have always been upfront that KD has some of the best talent in the world when it comes to playing basketball. But there are times that you just don't see quite the effort you need. And I think that's where this KD curse comes from, is he lacks that killer instinct when you really need it.
I don't know about that. I think he'll be okay. He'll be fine. He's missed a lot of time. He is the one you want to take the shot at the end. I think we'll be okay with that. But something I really am intrigued is this Nuggets T-Wolves series, because I think it's just going to be a fight. And I think Ant and Jokic are going to go after each other just to try to play one-upmanship there. I think the Nuggets are going to win, but I think it's going to be a fight, Rod.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Timberwolves are going to go down swinging, but it's going to be a season of change for the Timberwolves. I think Chris Finch is going to get unexpectedly fired and rehired to coach somewhere else because he's a good basketball coach. I think Julius Randle is going to get traded. I think Rudy Gobert is going to get traded. And I think Ant Edwards is going to have a whole new cast of running mates next year, along with Jaden McDaniels, who I swooped up for $1 at the end of the fantasy season. Thank you very much.
Chris, Spurs and Blazers. I wonder if Denny Avdija has ever seen Victor Wembanyama instead of Mark Williams standing in that lane.
Did Mark Williams even play? That's how insignificant he was. I forgot he was even in that game.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, right, do you guys think of this as kind of a warm-up for the Spurs, right? They should be able to sweep the Blazers. The Blazers are scrappy, though, right?
Mm-hmm. They ain't going down without a fight. They're going to sneak one out. They're going to make the Spurs feel
Klingon. Bill Simmons, I think, said Klingon was Gunther from WWE, and Wemby can't handle those chops.
The Rim General. They really should be trying to make that take off. I don't get it.
Right, they should. He can be bully down there. So, yeah, you still think the Spurs are going to win, but the Blazers are scrappy. They are not an easy knockout. So. But we're really just anticipating to see who comes out from the Denver Wolves. If it's the Wolves, you think the Spurs get an easier path to OKC. If it's the Nuggets, you think it's probably a little bit tougher.
Pistons are either going to play the Hornets or the loser of the 76ers and Magic. Again, I think the Pistons are going to be able to take care of business here. They are a little deeper now that they didn't have Cade for a while. Not too much we have to go into that right now. We'll see what the matchup is next week. Cavs and Raptors, Rod. This is big for the Cavs because the Raptors are that team that they can win. They can. It's just they never really do.
Yeah, but you know who you could also say that about? The team from
The Cavs.
Mistake by the Lake. The one Cavs,
Yeah.
right? Mr. Jared Allen, who's now forever immortalized as saying, maybe the playoff lights were a little too bright for me. Come on, Jared, my guy. Like, even if you believe that, don't say that, dude. Like, you don't want to be on tape as the guy that said that about the playoffs seeming too bright for you. So, but I did just talk up Donovan Mitchell. I, like you, think the Cavs will probably win this. And it will all come down to, can the Cavs play a brand of scrappy playoff basketball, right? Like we've talked about it. We talked about how Portland's got a bit of an edge to them. We know Detroit has an edge to them. Oklahoma City basically says to the refs, we're going to foul. Are you going to call every one of them, right? So they got a bit of an edge to them. I don't see an edge for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I think that's a little bit of their problem in the playoffs, Jimmy, why they've kind of underachieved the last couple of years. And I see no reason with James Harden, that traditional
I was going to say James Harden's
killer.
there, Chris. Gotta love that. We have the Knicks and Hawks. I think will always just be a battle, but I think the Knicks should win that one. I hope so.
Upset alert.
Everyone's sake, but it could happen.
Alert.
I mean,
And then
Atlanta,
the playoffs. Please get the Knicks.
They're
out.
good.
Atlanta has been so tough these last few weeks of the season, right? I think maybe only the Lakers have played better these last couple of weeks. I'm with Rod. I'm kind of nervous. If I'm a Knicks fan, I'm nervous. I really am.
Please get the Knicks out of the playoffs. I do not want the Celtics to play the Knicks. I don't want to see OJ Anunoby. I don't want to see Mikal Bridges. I don't want to see Ben Stiller and Spike Lee and Madison Square Garden. Oh, please, Knicks lose.
Hey, just remember how good Cat was too last year with all those, the Pacers games and things like that. That was scary. And then, of course, we have the Celtics against the Sixers or Magic as well. So we'll talk about that next week as well. Tankdom Nation lottery odds. Here we go. The final odds are in. The Wizards, Pacers, and Nets all have a 14% chance of winning. The Washington Wizards had the worst record in the league. They went 0-10. The Pacers, for whatever reason, won 3-7. We don't need to get into that now. Rod, are the Pacers going to have a top 4 pick, or is that going to the Clippers?
Listen, I'm nervous here, right? Because if you want to get down to brass tacks, Jimmy, you said it yourself. They all have a 14% chance. But the way that the slotting works is the Wizards are the first pick, the Pacers are the second. So if teams jump up in there and the Pacers bump back, that puts them closer to 5. All right. It's really kind of a better than a coin flip chance that the Pacers might lose their pick. It really is. And that's kind of frightening. It just is. 2 teams have to crack into the top 10 or the top 4, and that doesn't always happen. But all the Pacers had to do was get rid of that little feeling in the back of their head that Marcellus Wallace talks about in Pulp Fiction. That's pride, and that's pride fucking with you. And the Pacers let it mess with them at the end of the year and won some games they had no business winning, and now 2 teams go into the top 4 in this entire garbage year where you didn't sell as many tickets as you needed to. Tyrese Halliburton got shingles. We're a complete laughingstock, nowhere to be found on national TV, is all going to be for naught if 2 teams get into the top 4 because you just had to beat the Magic. You just had to do it. Everybody has to beat the Magic, so why not the Pacers?
Hey, Chris, you are a big karma guy. The Pacers are going to get the number 1 pick, aren't they?
I'm going to say this next bit to any youth sports coaches, parents, people who have kids that enjoy sports. Do not let them get this idea that sometimes it's better to lose and to try and lose to better some fictional future that may or may not happen. You play to win the game. You go out, you play, you have fun, and you play to win. These are competitions, all right? It's not about who can be the best at off-season strategy. It's about who can win on the court on that night. You play to win the game. Don't let your kids get into the belief that tanking is good. It's not.
Speaking of tanking, on Sunday, April 12th, the Oklahoma City Thunder lost to the Phoenix Suns, 135-103. Let's hit to the Wins League. So you brought 5 people in total. Got 2 more people came in. Chris, you had 214 wins. Not good. Not good at all. You had the Pacers, the Jazz, the Grizzlies. Bad year. Eric had 233 wins. Those Mavs, Nets, Bulls, not good at all.
He just had to draft the
Wu-Tang.
Bulls. He just had to draft the Bulls, didn't you, Cowboy? Congratulations to you and Cowboy, though, on that first-round pick. That's a successful Bulls season. They haven't had one like that in a while.
Yeah, the Bulls have the 9th and 15th pick right now, which is great. Wu-Tang had 258 wins. Very respectable for Wu-Tang. You got to give him credit where credit is due. But, of course, the reigning, defending, and new Wins League champion with 263 wins to Jim's 262 wins because the effing Thunder, Rod Morgan, is your Wins League champion.
Let's go. What a double crown. Fantasy championship and a Wins League championship. Let me first thank Joe Maz, and then let me thank one Larry Joe Bird for first making me a Celtics fan back when I was a young pup and first watching the NBA, and my Celtics fandom drew me to picking them. Actually, it drew me to getting them late in the draft, and they probably helped win this thing for me because they had no business beating the Magic on the final day of the year, and they did. That's another one that had to hurt you too, Jimmy.
Rod's last two picks were the Celtics with 56 wins and the Heat with 43 wins. My last two picks were the Warriors with 37 and the Hornets with 44. But yeah, I only had the Pelicans were my worst team with 26 wins. Rod's worst team was the Wizards with 17, and that was given to him, just remember. So I think that was a great win by you, Rod.
Wait a minute. That makes my win even greater. I was literally given the worst team. I was literally given the team that's going to add to your total worse than anybody else in this thing, and I still managed to win. Let's go.
First of all, I have no.
That was great.
I should never be mad about that because I've been living on this reigning defending for 3 years. Chris, let's go to the whatever you do. King's Hardwood Hierarchy. Who's the king? Stupid Thunder.
Yeah. All right. We'll keep it right there because they're the king. All right. You have the best record.
You just did that to piss me off. All right, fine.
They got the best record in the NBA. They've had the best record in the NBA all season long. All right.
I think we just established that I'm the king. I think what happened before this segment is we established I'm the king. Forget about all these other teams.
I love how we started this podcast about Rod claiming how humble he is. And here we are.
All right, Chris, who's the queen?
That's the Spurs, all right? And it's all because of Victor and what he's been able to do in the league, and especially how they've been able to beat Oklahoma City. They're the only team that's really been able to show they can do it multiple times, so they're the queen.
All right, and your prince, I'm assuming, is going to be from Denver?
No.
Boston?
No.
Go.
It's the Lakers. I'm sorry. To me, they're the third best team right now. They won 12 in a row to end the season. I don't care what you say. To me, they're the next tier. I think they're above Denver in the West. Give me the Lakers.
And your Jester.
It's my list.
Yeah, your Jester should be the freaking Thunder. Go ahead, Jester. Stupid Thunder.
The Jester's the Magic, all right? I know I'm keeping it with, like, playoff teams, but, like, here's a team that was not in the play-in games a few weeks ago, and they just have continue just crap down their leg the last few weeks of the season, and they topped it off by losing tonight.
Yep, so it's the 76ers and Celtics. I think that's going to be a good series, and then the Magic and Hornets play to go against the Pistons. That is going to do it for the Fast Break on the More You Know Podcast Network. Guess what, gentlemen? It's WrestleMania time. Let's hit right into it. WrestleMania 42, Night 1, Night 2, coming up this weekend. We don't have to go over too much that happened this week. Other than the ticket prices are down another 25%. Who the heck cares about that? Cody Rhodes is apparently going to jail for destroying Pat McAfee's studio. Don't really care about that either. I care about WrestleMania and what's going on. ESPN, we've got Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and IShowSpeed versus the Usos in LA Knight. Yeah! Rod, IShowSpeed, had one wrestling lesson. He's awesome. So it's great. He's going to win, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy, right? Logan Paul basically was saying it's easy. Just, you're great. IShowSpeed. I don't know, Jimmy. I'm really nervous about this match because how much IShowSpeed gets involved will maybe give us an idea of how much they want the other celebrities to be getting involved. So he's technically the only one in a match, I guess, but I'm bummed out for Austin Theory. I'm kind of bummed out for Logan Paul. I'm definitely bummed out for our guys, the Usos at LA Knight. I want much better for them at a WrestleMania than what they're involved in. So this match just kind of makes me sad.
I think the one saving grace is I believe it's going to be the first match of WrestleMania. That's going to come out first. The crowd's going to be into it and hot. They love the Usos. They love LA Knight. I think it's going to go over okay, and I think Usos and LA Knight are going to win. Rod, who you got to win?
I'm going to go against that. I'm Austin Theory and Logan Paul win. I know you're right that they want to have energy hot to start with, but I don't see the point in giving Austin Theory and that. Well, I mean, I guess you give him the belt so then the Usos can win it back, but no.
You know what? You know what could happen? Breaker comes back and spears LA Knight and gives ISO Speed the win, or spears Jimmy or Jay, doesn't really matter, but spears him and then kind of go back to the Royal Rumble moment where he speared him. So maybe help him out there. Chris, who you got?
Well, I got LA Knight pinning somebody.
Okay.
I don't care who. All right. Hopefully it's Logan Paul. I don't like him. All right. But I don't know if I have to pay extra for ESPN proper, because that's all they said on Raw. ESPN proper all night long. I don't have ESPN proper.
Okay. So if you have ESPN, that's really funny. You get this match and the Fatu and McIntyre match and then everything else. So yes, ESPN proper, they really should rename it. I love that. Speaking of Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, this is an unsanctioned match, Chris. Who are you going to pick? I have no clue. I have no idea who you're going to pick.
This is going to be a shocker.
This is Drew McIntyre. Is there any other choice? I will say this, though. Whoever made those handcuffs from the other night, they need to be returned to the manufacturer. Those things broke way too easy.
That's just strength. It's just strength, Rod.
How much experience do you got with handcuffs going bad on you, Chris? Do you want to talk about that here on the podcast? Your experience of handcuffs going bad on you and what was involved?
I mean, there's been numerous times. Let's just leave it at that.
What was her name? No? Okay.
Here's my
Rod,
thought
who you
on
got,
this.
Fatu or McIntyre? Yeah.
Here's my thought on this. And Chris is going to hate this, right? And I promise I'm not doing this just to antagonize Chris. Like, what I kind of think is the best for Drew McIntyre here is to get buried. Is to get buried by Jacob Fatu and to go away for a little while. Like, how much longer do we want to do this with Drew? How much longer do we want to do this with Drew? Like, he's vanquished all that he wanted to vanquish, and then it just went bad on him again. Like, he's told all the truths. Like, how long do we want to do this? Because, like, he's definitely been great as a heel, but I'm sorry, man. The chisel-chested dude pulling out a sword with the vest on, that guy works as a face as well. So, like, I think the best thing for Drew McIntyre is to get kind of beat by Fatu here. It helps him, and it certainly helps Fatu with the big resume builder. I like Fatu here, Jimmy.
Man, I like that. I'm going to pick McIntyre just because I'm not feeling it for Fatu, but I like where you're going with that because Fatu wins this, and then he realizes that Cody Rhodes is the one that hurt him and broke his teeth, and then they feud after that. So that could happen for sure. But I think they're going to give it to McIntyre, just give him a big win on a big stage, especially that it's on ESPN proper. Then we're going to go over to ESPN, the app or whatever, and you're paying a lot or you're not paying a lot, depending on who you are. Women's World Championship, Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan. Man, I really wish Stephanie was chasing Morgan here. It'd be such a bigger match, in my opinion. Unfortunately, it's not. Liv Morgan has a great looking goose egg on her forehead. That was nasty. Wrestling isn't real. I'm going to go with Morgan on this. I think she wins, and then they go the route where Stephanie chases her. Chris, who you got?
It's definitely Liv Morgan, right? You don't release your number one hit single the same week as WrestleMania and not win.
Chicago Bears stuff right there. That's stuff of legends. That's Super Bowl Shuffle right there, calling your shot.
Right. History has shown us the path to victory is music video, championship belt.
Okay, Rob, who you got?
Shout out to Raquel Rodriguez. Just incredible hype man energy out of Raquel Rodriguez and throughout that entire video. So good for her. I guess my thought with this match, Jimmy, is I'm tired. And I don't necessarily know that it's Liv and Stephanie's fault, but like they basically couldn't figure out a way to build drama for any of their WrestleMania matches other than these people just want to tear the crap out of each other and just can't be around one another without you. You know what I mean? Like it just got old. And like, so they suffered from the fact that Brock and Obo were essentially doing it. CM Punk and Roman Reigns were essentially doing it. Cody and Randy Orton were essentially doing it. And Pat McAfee was getting involved, right? Like, I understand that we want to be trying to live more in symbiosis with the UFC who are partnered with under the TKO umbrella. And we want to try to have this air of realism, I guess. But like, come on. Can't we find other stories, please, then these guys are pissed. They can't wait to be torn apart, get them to sign a contract and bring more security guards out. Like, I'm getting sick of it. And now we have it for the Women's World Championship. And I think Stephanie McCare is so much better than this. And I think Liv Morgan's so much better than this. I just think we could have told a story and just not had it be this.
So that's kind of where I was going to go. Oh, so you have Morgan winning?
No, I got Stephanie McCare winning.
Oh, that's good. So I was going to go there after this match because of the first 3 matches right now. My hype level isn't very high. I think McIntyre and Fatu is going to be a good match. The opening matches, it'll be fun, but nothing special. And then this Fakir and Morgan, I think I'm more along the lines of you, Rod. I'm a little tired right now, and I shouldn't be because I really like both of these women. I think they're great wrestlers, and I think it's going to be a good match. Something else I'm tired about, Chris, is this AJ Lee, Becky Lynch. I'm not to Rod yet, but again, it's like, okay, we get it. We've seen it, though, and I just don't know if we're going to see anything different or better than we've seen yet. Chris, I think AJ Lee is going to retain against Becky Lynch. Chris does not care either.
Don't want AJ Lee to have the belt because I don't think she deserved to have that opportunity in the first place. All right. I haven't been here for 10 years. I just came back. I'm the number 1 contender now because I said so. I hate that whole thing. I'm all about give me a real competition for the number 1 contender spot. Let me see somebody work their way up and not just skip the line and get in there. But I'm afraid that if Becky Lynch gets the belt back, we're just going to see another Becky versus AJ thing to keep going. I don't know if there's any scenario where it doesn't keep going, but I don't want AJ Lee to win, so give me Becky.
All right, Rod.
Jimmy, I'm going to surprise you here.
Go ahead.
I'm going to surprise you here. I want AJ Lee to win this match, and I'm going to use similar sentiments to what I said for Drew McIntyre. I think it's best for Becky Lynch to lose with this character that she's playing right now. I don't think we want the grading. I'm yelling at referees. I'm yelling at everybody. I'm doing all of my stuff on Twitter. I personally don't want that Becky Lynch. I mean, I'm not saying she has to be a good guy again, but let's get her back to being ready to fight matches and not just trying to do every dastardly thing in the book to not fight matches. That's to me is so far from the man Becky Lynch, who was famously created with the bloody busted nose, to where now she's yelling at referees who have conspiracies against her. I can't stand AJ Lee, and I echo everything Chris said about it's complete poppycock that she is the Intercontinental Champion after being away for that long and not fighting anybody. But I've had it with Becky Lynch, and it pains me so much to say that because she's one of the absolute greats, but I've had it with her.
It's so much more fun to be a heel, and I think she's having a blast playing the role. But I agree with you completely, unfortunately. We need to not agree as much. But I love good guy Becky Lynch coming out to her old theme song. I don't understand why they got rid of it. Why? I guess if they're going to be a different character, that's fine. But I just think it's so much more fun if she's going for a world title. This Intercontinental stuff for Becky, let's move on for that. And maybe if Morgan wins and she becomes a good guy, that could happen. Or if she loses and still bad, Stephanie McCure could be a good person for her to go against. So either way is fine with me there. But I like Becky maybe going back to being a good guy. Another match that just kind of got thrown together. I'm worried about this one. Women's Tag Team Championship. We've got Nia Jax, Lash Legend, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley and Lyra, and Nikki and Brie Bella. Maybe if Nikki can do it, maybe we'll see some Japanese wrestlers in there instead. I'm going to say Bayley and Lyra out of nowhere, off the top rope out of nowhere. Lyra had a really good match last week. Let's give Bayley and Lyra a WrestleMania moment. Why the heck not? Let's go with those two. I'm going to go Bayley and Lyra.
I'll second that. I certainly don't want to see Nia Jax and Lash Legend walking out of there. Nia Jax I tried. Jimmy, you know that I've tried to be a somewhat pro Nia Jax voice on this podcast for a while. And shout out to our guy Dax, who is just now coming around to wrestling and somehow loves Nia Jax. Yeah. But I can't anymore. She doesn't even seem to want to try. She doesn't even seem to want to try to do the moves and the spots. And I feel bad for Lash Legend, who clearly we hope is going to have big things for her. Certainly things are working out for Mr. Lash Legend right now on the WWE side. We'll get to him pretty soon. But I'm worried. And then my girl Charlotte Flair's in this match too. And Alexa Bliss, we kind of had a little bit of heat with her and Charlotte. And I'll admit that thing was maybe dying down, but like you're just completely burying them in this weird match with. I don't like it, Jimmy. I really don't. I could care less who wins this match. They're so bad with women's tag teams.
Charlotte Flair's main event at a WrestleMania is now in a women's tag team championship 4-way. Chris, let me see. You are a fan. I think you're going to pick Flair and Bliss.
Of course, right?
Okay.
They're the best team out there. They're the most exciting to watch. They're the most fun to watch. I don't necessarily agree that it's dying down. I just don't think they've given it enough chance. I think they took the belts away from them too early and didn't know what to do. And now we're in this weird mess. And I don't think this is how you build up a women's tag division in the first place, right? All these people aren't even real. They're tag teams, right? But like on the men's side, you get actual tag teams. That's what they do. We've seen the Usos go back to it because that's what they're good at. You don't see that on the women's side. And that's what keeps hurting the women's tag division. There's no longevity between any of these teams.
Well, what hurts the men's tag division is there's no tag team championship match on WrestleMania. So there's that as well.
There's also that.
Yes. And the match that has not been built up for as long, but hopefully, because this night one card is a little scary. Seth Rollins and Gunther, I think, are going to have a hard-hitting, really good wrestling match. I think it might be match of the year candidate. There is no chance in hell your boy's winning, though, Rod. Gunther's got to beat Seth Rollins here, Rod.
Listen, Jimmy, don't think that I haven't spent many a sleepless night ever since the Ring General came down to the ring and attacked the Visionary. Don't think that when I am out driving in the wonderful northeast Indiana countryside of Middlebury, Goshen, and Shipshewana, and there's nothing on the side of me but cornfields, that I think to myself, oh my God, is Gunther really going to end Seth Rollins' career? Because I don't think there's a non-zero chance, Jimmy. I know how many times my guy has been hurt recently. I know what my guy's age is. I know that my guy seems to enjoy trying to become a quasi-football analyst. I know that Roman Reigns basically works 17 days a year, and I just am worried about what the possible future is because my guy is wrestling the Ring General. But I agree with you that if my guy has anything in him and the injuries are healed up, he's going to give us a banger. But man, where he goes after he gets wiped out by Gunther, I'm terrified to live. I don't want to live there.
Chris.
You know, all these years that I've came back, I know I talk about being a new fan, but it's technically been years now, right? I've grown to understand why Rod loves Rollins so much. Like, he really is a visionary and a revolutionary, right? And I think that we are looking past that and giving up on him. And this isn't just your normal run-of-the-mill Monday Night Raw Rollins anymore, all right? This is a man that seems possessed. He is a man that comes out and pulls out all the stops and all the tricks, playing my games against Paul Heyman and Gunther. All right, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what he has planned. This guy is playing chess against Paul Heyman, and Gunther is just really a pawn in this. I think Rollins comes out on top. I think it's going to be tricky and ingenious. Give me Rollins.
My guy just talked me up. He was like a coach in the locker room there, Jimmy. He's talked me up before the second half. Let's go.
You set up a little bit there. I was very proud of you there, Rod. This is another Braun Breaker moment. We could see Braun Breaker in this as well, maybe causing. Okay.
Stop it. That's the other part that scares me because I know that that's another person that's going to come back and absolutely wipe out my guy at some point. Will you just stop talking about all the doom around the corner for my guy, please, Jimmy?
Then disputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes is your champion against Randy Orton with Pat McAfee in his corner. Chris King. Are you pumped? And who's going to win?
Everybody's getting RKO'd. And I mean everybody, including Pat. I think everybody is getting RKO'd. I think if they're in the ring, they're getting RKO'd. Referees, announcers, everybody is going to get RKO'd, and then Randy's going to leave with the belt.
Mark Nash, he's going to get in the ring and get RKO'd. It's going to happen to him. That's the ring
Rod,
announcer.
who you got?
Mark Nash is the ring
I know.
announcer. I know you know, but there's hopefully some listeners out there that maybe aren't as quick to pull the Mark Nash reference, which is why it was a terrible joke attempt by me. But hey, you don't hit with everyone that you take, right, Jimmy?
Exactly. Speaking of hitting, Rod, who's going to hit harder, Rhodes or Orton? Who's got it?
I just keep talking about, like, I've switched into the fan for this WrestleMania, right? Because for the granddaddy of them all, I want spectacle. I want big things to happen. This is the one time a year that people who don't care about wrestling, right? Like, Jimmy, I don't know how often you get this, but a little bit during this week, people come up to me and they'll be like, oh yeah, Rod, is it WrestleMania this weekend? Like, I heard a little something about that. You know what I mean? Like, so I hear that all the time. So I want nothing more than for this match to be awesome. And what I think for this match to be awesome is if we walk out completely stunned by the actions of Cody Rhodes, right? Chris, how fun would it be to see everybody get RKO'd? But that's not left of our expectations. That's not something that's coming out of left field at us. Cody Rhodes snapping on everybody and walking out, essentially giving the birds to every single person in the audience, that would be incredibly awesome. That's what I want to see.
So mad he muted himself.
I know, I'm ticked off here. Rod, how dare you? That's the dumbest thing. I agree with you. I think Cody Rhodes and Pat McAfee are going to walk out together at the end of this. I think there's a big ruse.
Definitely do it.
Just to piss everybody off. And Cody Rhodes then goes heel as champion, and people try to dethrone him. It's a good time to do it because people aren't tired of him yet, but they're getting tired of him. So it's a nice time to kind of flip that on its side and really open up and leave a lot of questions coming up for the next SmackDown. So I think Cody Rhodes is going to go out with Pat McAfee. Just too much stuff has happened. Who breaks someone else's studio? That's ridiculous, I tell you. So that's night one. I'm a little bit more excited for night two than I am night one. And I think night two on ESPN with Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar is going to just blow the house down. The entrances, I think, are going to be longer than the matches.
Yes.
But I think it's going to be it's just going to be a huge slobber knocker, if you will, Jim Ross. And Oba Femi is going to win. Listen. I'm not going to even say the other words. Oba Femi needs to win. He is the hottest thing you have right now, and him going over on Brock Lesnar skyrockets him to the top. Oba Femi is going to win. Rod.
Yes, Oba Femi is going to win. I'm excited for the cultural music display that I'm guessing.
Yeah, that'll be really good.
Yeah, that I'm guessing, right? We'll have maybe some drums are played by a bunch of people all decked out in ceremonial garb and things of that nature, right? Like, I imagine that's what lines up as Obi is coming down to the ring doing his walk. But Jimmy, I don't frequent the IWC, speaking of Pat McAfee, the internet wrestling community, quite so often, but Oba Femi doesn't actually sound like that. I guess I just saw for the first time ever today. I saw his first ever NXT interview, and he sounded a lot more like just kind of a regular voice, not quite as tribal, I guess you could say, as the Oba Femi voice. I was a little surprised in that. I guess you could say he had me fooled.
And remember, Kofi Kingston is not Jamaican either, so there's that. Chris, when Kofi Kingston first came out, he was Jamaican and spoke Jamaican, then all of a sudden he didn't. And it was hilarious because I think Triple H in an interview once looked at him and goes, "Weren't you Jamaican?" And he just went,
was he from right near the beach?
That's great.
I don't even know. Can we put that in? Chris, Oba Femi or Brock Lesnar?
It's Oba Femi. I called it last week. I said it wasn't going to be close. He's going to squash him. It's going to be a squash match, 7 minutes.
It should
tops.
be. I'm worried that they'll try to let Brock save face somehow, but it should be. He should just absolutely get squashed. Brock, lay down, make all your money, and go back to your gated compound where you don't have to talk to anybody.
What does the gain by having Brock win this?
A monster that destroyed Oba Femi in a rematch at Backlash or SummerSlam.
I think you can still do that possibly come SummerSlam if you really want to.
Yeah, not if you get squashed. You're right, Jimmy.
Or Brock Lesnar says, I'll retire if I lose. But that's kind of more of a ring general kind of gimmick. But anyway, this match has to be short because the next match is going to be long, and it's on ESPN. It's Intercontinental Championship. Penta, let's go Penta, versus Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, because for reasons, and Rey Mysterio in an Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Penta is going to show everyone why he is awesome. Javon Evans is going to show everyone why he's nuts. Dragon Lee is going to show everyone that he's a great technical wrestler. JD McDonough is going to get thrown off the top of a ladder by Rusev, and Mysterio will do what Mysterio does. Penta is going to win. Chris.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Penta wins. Part of me thinks there's a chance Rusev does, but I just want to say I think I'm most thrilled about JD getting a chance like in a big match like this. He's going to be in WrestleMania. He's proven that he can do some of the best selling out there in the ring. He is really good. He does some phenomenal stuff. He takes big risks. So I'm just happy that he's going to be putting on a show. I'm really looking forward to it for him. I think I got to agree with you. Give me Penta.
And Rod.
I'm selling a narrative here, Jimmy. Every once in a while, the feeling washes over me, and I try to just put out things into the air that hopefully folks in Stamford, Connecticut might hear about and decide, you know what? That's not a bad idea. And the idea I'm putting out there is let's create some heels. Let's shock some people with some folks doing things you wouldn't anticipate. What if Booyaka 619 is playing as Rey Mysterio walks out of there Intercontinental Champion? But he's not walking out of there as proud Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. He's walking out of there as angry, pissed off Rey Mysterio, because there's been all this talk in the WWE recently about who's the king of the luchadors and who's the best at the luchador style of wrestling. And this guy's getting a bump, and this guy's getting a bump. And oh, we haven't had a masked Intercontinental Champion since Rey Mysterio. And he's going to say, where's my respect? Where's me? I'm the head of the table. If we want to talk Mexican wrestling around here, we want to talk luchadors, it starts with Rey Mysterio. I'd love to see it. It's probably not going to happen. Penta's going to win, but wouldn't it be cool?
It's a pretty cool WrestleMania moment. Another WrestleMania moment I don't want to last too long is the Women's Championship between Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. There is a world where this mimics the Obafemi Brock Lesnar match, where it's a 4 to 5 minute, just show us all of your powerful moves and go home. Rhea Ripley needs to win this and move on to bigger and better things. I think that Rhea has been, needless to say, not utilized as much as she could have over the past few months. Io Sky, I don't know what happened there. She's not even on the card, which is ridiculous. Rhea Ripley is going to go out the champion, Rod.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, Jimmy. And just quickly here, I want to say, can we please stop with some of the conversation that goes on with Rhea Ripley out there in Twitter? My goodness, can we just stop? Can we please try and give this woman a break? She has had many scenarios where absolutely gross things have happened to her on Twitter, and all of you vile IWC scumbags out there continue to do these things, and she feels necessary to respond, and she shouldn't have to. It's gross. You guys are always going to be gross, but can we just please give Rhea Ripley a break for a little while, please? I'm sick to hear all of this stuff come out about her body image yet again this week. Disgusting.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Rod. That is, and you know what? The views expressed on this podcast in that case do represent everyone. Chris.
You give me Rhea, right? I want Rhea to have the belt on. I think the WWE is better, especially the women's division, when Rhea has the belt on, because it gives it real legitimacy in my eyes. I feel like with it being on Jade, like it's kind of just a placeholder, right? Like, hey, you bring a lot of views, so here's your bonus.
You mean B-Fab and Michin hanging around the belt doesn't exactly class it up for you?
Right? Give me Rhea.
Speaking of classing up belts, and speaking of entrances, Trick Williams, I think, is going to have a pretty big entrance as the United States champion Sami Zayn and he wrestle at Mania. Here you go, Trick. Here you go. It's your turn. You're going against one of the best wrestlers we have, if not the best wrestler in the company, on the biggest stage of them all for a championship. You're going to win, but you got to show us that you can handle this and be that next superstar that we have to maybe main event a WrestleMania in 2 years or 3 years. I think Trick Williams is going to win against Sami Zayn, Chris.
Whoop that Trick. Give me Trick Williams.
I don't know what that means.
Jimmy, listen, I know we're running a little bit long here, but it's a WrestleMania preview.
That's
People
okay.
are
It's
gonna have to
WrestleMania.
forgive us, all right?
Sure.
What's going on here? Why? Because Trick Williams is so insanely popular, do we have to boo Sami Zayn? Like, well, honestly, what is going on here? I know that Chris doesn't really like Sami Zayn, and that's insane. We've talked to him about that before in the past. But the crowd, right? The crowd has never really turned on Sami Zayn like that. Jimmy, you're the one who I come to when I'm confused. And this is one that's gotten me perplexed. Why did they turn on Sami Zayn?
I think you understand it exactly right. They love Trick Williams so much that whoever you put against him is going to get booed. And Sami Zayn, now he's done some heelish things here and there because they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with him, right? They love Trick Williams, and Sami Zayn is in his way. Sami Zayn has something he wants, and they're booing him. So that's the only reason. And that shows how over he is. That's unbelievable that he has that power.
I guess also it says that they have confidence in Sami to be able to be in that spot and go in that ring and cut that promo, because that's a tough promo to cut.
Speaking of entrances, gentlemen, I'm pumped for this one. I am a huge Finn Balor fan. Always have been, always will be. And to finally see him come out at WrestleMania in a huge matchup against Dominic Mysterio, in a blood feud matchup, and it's going to be a good match too, as the Demon. I'm excited, Rod. Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, who's winning?
I really genuinely don't know. Like, this is one of those matches where I've talked about this before, but when I was a euchre player and I'd have two cards in my hand and either one of them were fine as a discard, but you didn't know which one might come into handy on the last turn, I'd set them down in front of me and I'd hit them forward, and whichever one went farther forward, I would play it, right? It was sort of my way of letting the fates decide. And this is a wrestling match where I do that, right? I come on here and I give Dominic Mysterio a hard time. Clearly, that's a bit in jest. Clearly, that's a bit of a bit. I definitely understand he's a second-generation superstar, immense wrestling talent, immense charisma, immense heel ability, right? I understand all of these things about him. But Finn Balor is an absolute ace. I mean, an absolute ace. There is nobody, to me, better at stitching, what I call stitching a match together. I complain about people who seem to be shuffling their feet or taking a couple extra steps to get to spots where they know they're supposed to be. They duck their head down a little too soon because they know they're supposed to do that. None of that happens in a Finn Balor match. If he's a little off, he's going to give you a quick, like a sling blade right down to the match, or he's going to do an arm drag over, or he's going to punch you, or he's going to put you in a headlock. He's going to do something that makes it make sense for why you just got to where you got to. So I think I would love to see Finn Balor win, Jimmy, but my question is, what does the Demon beating Dominic Mysterio truly do? Because the Demon's winning, right? Then we're going to see on Monday, Finn Balor's going to walk out into the ring. So, like, yeah, it's a cool moment, but does it actually achieve anything for our guy Finn? The answer is no, and that's why you're right, that the Demon will probably win this match, because we know that the WWE doesn't want anything for Finn Balor.
Chris.
You guys know I am a fan of the genius of Dominic Mysterio, and I would love nothing more than to see him win, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's going to unfortunately happen is we're going to see Mysterio somehow get cursed by a one Danhausen, and we see some sort of Danhausen Demon combo that causes Dominique to lose the match. And then we get a much more interesting Finn Balor and Demon combo with Danhausen. So I'm very nervous for the black magic that I'm starting to see happen behind the scenes of the WWE. And when you have a guy like Danhausen and a guy like the Demon, like, I'm seeing them combine and causing havoc among all the WWE universe.
The best thing that could ever happen is Danhausen gets on a truck and then the Mets curse is lifted. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter today, but someone asked, please remove that. And he goes, sure, where's the truck? And it's
give me all the human monies. Give me all the human monies and I'll reverse it.
Yeah, I think the Demon wins this, and then I think that is a springboard for Finn Balor moving forward. I really do. I think that he is going to be
wrong.
over, and
you're wrong.
I could be wrong.
Listen, you know you're wrong. Listen,
I know, but I love it. I don't care.
You're wish casting right now, Jimmy, and you know it.
Hey, Finn Balor's not going to beat Mysterio without some dark magic. That's all I know.
Look at you. You're such a Mysterio caper.
All right, so we've gone from CM Punk and Roman Reigns wanting to kill each other to apologizing to each other to being in the same ring, just having a chat. This is what happens when you start a program 6 weeks before WrestleMania. It is. You run out of shit to do. I'm sorry. I'm excited for the match. I think it's going to be an old school WrestleMania main event. A lot of rest holds, things like that, because they're going to go long and they're going to go tired.
I was literally waiting for them to say, come on, let's hug it out, bro. and then called off the match.
It's interesting because I think CM Punk's going to win. I don't know why, but I've got CM Punk winning. Rod, tell me why I'm wrong.
You got to see on first hand as SmackDown opened on Friday, or was it Raw? Which one was it? I get confused all the time anymore. Was it Raw that opened with the Roman Reigns pre-recorded package? Whichever one that they ended up fighting each other in the end of the ring. It's Raw because CM Punk's a Raw guy, so it was Raw. Yeah. Raw opened with the pre-recorded Roman Reigns package, and you got to see on full display the power of Roman Reigns. Okay, Roman Reigns is a lot more Jake Roberts than he is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay, Roman works a lot better in a relaxed, I could really care less, almost whispering to you register. That's the power of Roman Reigns. That's when he really works, right? And when Roman is what I call kind of breaking the fourth wall, that's when he's really at his best, right? Where Roman just says, let's just do away with all of it, right? We all know that this is a business and this is all a farce. Let's talk about gate. Let's talk about merchandise sale. Let's talk about contracts. Let's talk about how people get along in the back, right? Roman just breaks all of that stuff down for you, and I just eat it up with the spoon. Do I get mad that he only shows up 17 times a year? Absolutely. But do I think anybody else looks more like a professional wrestler than Roman Reigns? I'm sorry. Do I think anybody else has the walk and the charisma and just the absolute persona oozing off of them like Roman Reigns? I don't. I think we are absolutely crowning Roman Reigns at this WrestleMania. He's going to gear up for a run that's a little more hefty than we've seen out of Roman in the past. I just feel it in my bones. I have nothing to go on that whatsoever. I have no sources, but I just feel it in my bones that Roman's going to win at WrestleMania. He's going to come back, and he's going to basically have a face run. He's going to basically have a face run as the champion, which is going to be completely different than his record-setting run, where guys lined up to hate on him every second like Chris.
Who you got, Chris?
I am rooting hard for Roman to kick Phil's ass, right? But as soon as Roman gets the belt on him again, I will agree with Rod. I will be right back to hating him and wanting him to lose the belt to anyone but Phil.
Anyone but Phil. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm really looking forward to night 2 of WrestleMania. I think it's going to be a really good show. Hopefully I am wrong about night 1 and it just blows everything else out of the water. There are some potential good matches in there. I think Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan could be a dark horse. Just kind of depends on what they want to do with it. A lot of matches over 2 nights. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to talk about it.
What does our guy Danhausen really do? Chris made his prediction, and I think that that's great. I'm not so sure he gets involved in that match, but what does our guy Danhausen do at WrestleMania, Jimmy?
Well, he and Cena are doing something together.
That's
right?
it. That's it. Because of the Cena-hausen.
So I think that's going to be hilarious. Whatever they do will be just terrific.
Is he going to get the Cannonhausen? Right? Is he going to get the?
Oh, he's going to get the truck.
Ring?
He's going to get the truck.
Oh
his
my God!
Picture, his face will be on one of the trucks. It will happen.
There we go.
Yes, because Cena is in charge. Yes, that's going to happen.
There we go. There we go. We avoided being cursed, and we put a perfect bow on the episode, Jimmy. Almost like we've been podcasting. What did I say right there? Don't put that part in. Almost like we've been podcasting together for years now.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast and the Morgan You Know podcast. On the Morgan You Know podcast, you got to love it. I'm just going to say the Morgan You Know podcast again. I need to write it on my screen underneath. We will get there. I swear. It's kind of funny that we don't. No, see, here's the deal. I get flustered the second I say the Yeah We Know podcast because it's not the Yeah We Know podcast. It's the Morgan You Know podcast. And we're leaving. Chris, take us home.
Comment and subscribe. Thank you, Internet.
What show are we on? I'm glad our reels.
Not ours. We all messed up.
This show is very evil and very nice. That's all I know.
Yeah.
You guys